Oops, still got the screen up. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boiling Point Podcast. I am your host, JD, and if you weren't aware, it's early in the morning on February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. You're likely not seeing this until the weekend. We're not doing a live episode here, so and morning time is not something that I usually do, and I don't usually shoot in the morning, so I am a little bit sluggish in case anybody wonders why I'm a little off my game. I am joined by some of the concerned parents from the Northern School District as we expand our coverage from the West Shore School District into Northern School District and potentially even into other school districts around the area as well. Julia, Linda, and Jess, thank you for coming on the Boiling Point Podcast. We were talking before we began, and this is all three of you first time. Linda can't hear us now. Julia and Jess, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, Linda, I would suggest since you can't hear me now, that your microphone or your thing, no, it's not muted on mine. Try and exit the studio and come back in again, just like you did before. That should fix the problem, if you could. She can't hear me. So.
I can text her.
I put it in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, if you could text her too and see if don't worry, I can actually go back in and cut this out.
Okay.
Okay, so Linda did get the message, and I'll just go back in and cut out I'll just cut out the whole beginning. So when she gets back in, we'll just start again from the opening.
Okay.
Should have figured me playing the video is probably what caused the problem.
Maybe she just had to manually unmute for some reason.
I saw her trying to do that.
The thing is, though, is that on my screen, I have more access than you do, so I can see whether or not your things are working. And it still showed me that her mic was not muted. So that's what I was thinking, that she just needed to manually unmute the mic, but it didn't show me that her mic was muted. So
gotcha.
Okay, let's see if we got her now.
Linda,
can you hear us?
Yes, now I can. Sorry.
No problem. I'm pretty sure it's the video. It's the video. When I played the video, it messed up your mic settings for whatever reason.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm gonna recount us in, like if it was just the end of the credits and we start the episode all over.
I'm sorry. Okay.
It's not a problem. 3, 2. Welcome, everyone, to the Boiling Point Podcast. It is the morning of February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Even though you're seeing this a day or two later, this is not a live episode. And we are joined by some of the concerned parents from the Northern School District, Jess, Julia, and Linda. Welcome to the Boiling Point Podcast. We were talking off the screen before the show. This is your guys' first ever podcast.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Excellent. I'm glad that you guys are all willing to come on, and I'm glad you could take the time this morning to come on to talk about Northern School District as we expand our coverage from the West Shore into neighboring school districts around the area. Julia, I spoke to you on the phone.
Yes.
So what's happening in the Northern York School District? How are things, the school board, your policies? What's happening? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, right now we have, with the exception of a few members, we have a pretty strong conservative school board. And at the last committee meeting, one of them brought up that he wanted to look at the library policy. And that prompted us moms to do some research ourselves. And we're pretty horrified by some of the books that we found in our schools.
That's interesting that you say that. That's kind of how we started to get involved with the West Shore School District. It started with books in the library was what got some of the parents' attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Do you know have any idea how long their books were in there before you found them?
We don't. There's no way. There's no dating on when the books were put into the library.
And Northern doesn't have any kind of record keeping for when they bring in new books or when they order new books or get any donations.
If they do, we're not aware of it.
That's interesting. Okay. Yes, Linda.
Julia, one thing that I
Linda, we're having some technical issues with you.
am working on.
It's
Are you-
okay. I understand. In the pre-show, we weren't having any technical problems with Linda. It's only because we're recording now that we are having problems.
Am I good?
Yeah, try again.
Okay. So in the books that I've been going through for the high school, one of the things that I noticed as a pattern, most of the dates that they were issued were in 2019 to 2022. So in my mind, several of these books are within the last 4 years. So if they haven't been printed before that, that means that's telling me they've entered the library in the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, if they weren't printed before that, that's reasonable to assume that,
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, I'd be curious to know how long after they were printed, though, were they stuck in the library. Can you give us some of the titles of the books?
I can. So there's a couple that I actually sent, so currently what we're doing with Julia, spearheading all of this, we have been going through the library books, and I think there's 177 of them that have been found in our middle school and our high school library. So there's a team of people that are going through them and then doing up the documents to request a review of the resources by the librarian and the principals. So, but here's one just by the name of it, Heroin by Minnie McGillis, The Honey by Ryan LaSala. This one, I thought this particular book was quite eyebrow raising to me. I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. So here's one. It's called Here's to Us by Becky. I Kiss Shara. The ones that we actually, I did that I read in the board meeting was called Damsel. Very sexual content. The ones that Julia and Jessica read were quite mortifying. With bestiality.
What schools were just so we can get an age range here? Were these in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools?
High school.
Yeah,
they were in high school.
The three that we read were in high school, but then there is a list. These ones here are high school, and there's a list that is in the middle school. Just to give you a Hello Universe, Julia of the Wolves. This is a story about a girl that was raised by wolves, and then all the encounters and situations that she has, meeting human males and so on. Monday's Not Coming. This book, again, it's rated for young adults, and it's in our middle school. But Monday's Not Coming has quite a bit of sexual content, but it really derives around suicide. And just how to do those things. And it's like, now we're technically not that's not what we're supposed to be bringing up, when we're doing these reviews, because we're going after sexual content, but it's quite disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, still,
they're pushing on these kids,
especially with the way I've been talking to a couple of people about this, not in episodes, off the air, how prevalent suicide is in our culture today. I mean, I have a sister show, Mayhem Media, that covers like entertainment things, and one of the guys that I have on the team has a friend who committed suicide, or did, after he joined the team, and we have a whole anti-suicide message now before we even go live on our sister show. It's just so prevalent; it's everywhere. Everybody, you either know somebody that's committed suicide, or you know somebody that knows somebody that's committed suicide. So, so it's very prevalent in our society today. Turn it on the TV and it's going to be in your face. So I think having available in the libraries and any kind of manual or how-to is not really a good
And I
thing.
think and I agree. I mean, I think that's what's quite disturbing in all of this, between the sexual acts and the suicide and the drug and alcohol in these books. It's almost like it's an accepting society of saying this is what you should be doing. And we're talking to vulnerable middle-aged and teenagers who are already trying to deal with what's going on around in society. And then these books are pushing it right on them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's right there in our schools. It just baffles me of why any logical parent would even consider this to be okay.
Now, do you guys, Jess, I do want to try and get you involved here. So anytime you feel like getting involved, you feel free to jump in.
All right.
Do you guys do any of you know the policy on how books are selected for your library?
That's what I was wondering, honestly, myself. I was interested in even reaching out to the high school librarian and asking how that happens or how the donation process is too, but I have not yet.
So, okay, so this is great. So the Boiling Point podcast is actually getting involved very early here with Northern York, because when we first got involved with West Shore School District, the parents were already organizing. They were already going after the stuff in the books and finding out much more stuff as a result of that. So this is great, actually. I'm excited about this because we can get involved at the beginning here maybe and kind of see how this is all going to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
So we can actually help. I can help. Julia, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, at the last committee meeting, the assistant superintendent did talk about how basically the librarians are the ones that choose the library books.
See, I want to. Sorry if I may here. That just because what they're saying, that might not necessarily be the case. Okay, because West Shore School District just last night, and that's why we went so long, and then that's why also Mariana even posted her episode of her own series, because last night, I believe it was I believe they just voted it, or they just allowed for the superintendent and the person that he designates to decide what is in the library. Okay. But we've also heard them say in meetings that it's the librarian's job, or the librarians of each school decide, but that's not actually the case. So just because they say something at a school board meeting, now I'm not calling anybody a liar, because I haven't been involved with any of your school board meetings yet. I haven't seen any yet. They're not broadcast. So I haven't gotten a chance to go and review any of the minutes or anything. And we're just going to be doing the first, live broadcast of Northern's school board meeting this upcoming Tuesday. So look for that. So this is we're in very early. I'm not calling anybody a liar, but I'm just saying that just because it's said in a school board meeting, they are not, they don't take an oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, or they get up there, whether they're on the board or the superintendent, or they're sitting on the other side of the table. So I'm just saying, just because it's said doesn't make it fact. So I would look into, and maybe I can help you with that, try and see if you guys can get the policy from the school board on what is there, because the school board should have a policy on how they get new books. They don't have
that's one thing that, Julie, if you remember a couple things about that, that's why the one school board member, he wants to implement a policy because we don't have one.
Yeah.
So I thinking at the moment we don't, but the other thing we thought was very interesting, and it came up from two school boards in particular, two school board members that said, we leave it up to the moral compass of the librarian. The moral compass of the librarian, we believe they know what they're doing, so they get the books and they put them in. Well, all three of us approached that when we said about these books. We said, so this is the moral compass of our current librarians.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna after hopefully maybe before Tuesday, I'll get some answers. Then I'll look into this and look on the Northern School District website and see if I can find anything regarding their policies. So their unofficial policy is to let the librarians decide what's in there, or at least that's what they claim. Correct. Whether or not the librarians are actually librarians. If you're a librarian at a Northern School District, please reach out to the Boiling Point podcast immediately. It appears that you're the one that's holding the buck for the content in the libraries. If you are not the person who's responsible, please reach out to us immediately so that we can have you on an episode, so that we can talk about who actually is deciding. I expect somebody knows why or knows that it's been selected. So I don't expect anybody, librarian or school board member or superintendent, to reach out to the Boiling Point podcast. But I always like to make the offer. Okay, so you guys are just now getting involved. What are your concerns then as we continue? Jess, maybe we can get you in on this a little bit now. What are your concerns that you think you might find beyond the books at this point? Now that all the parents have seen this and are getting more involved, are you concerned that the books could just be the beginning?
I mean, yes, I've actually heard from my son's friends and students of my neighbors, their children and stuff, that like the sexual harassment has just been like pretty rampant in both middle school and high school, where boys are catcalling girls and there's a lot of really derogatory stuff. And I could only see that getting worse and worse if these books remain in the system. You know, if minors have access to this material and it's geared towards comedy for, you know, young adults, and we have minors reading it, it's just going to make it so much worse. That's my major concern. Also, like the demoralization of students in general, and just the fact that staff would allow that just really, you know, disturbs me.
Has anybody looked into your school board's bathroom policies at this point
We're
yet?
working
The West
on-
Shore School District is battling.
We're working on that. So
transgender bathrooms and stuff in the West Shore School District.
Well, we there was some controversy the beginning of last year because our board brought on ILC, Independence Law Center. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, to help us with a bathroom policy because it was an issue with biological boys going into the girls' bathroom and vice versa. So they did vote to bring on ILC, and right now we have a records and a sports policy in place, and it was brought up at the last school board meeting because of the legislations coming down from President Trump that they are now going to be doing the bathroom policy.
Yes, but now I want to make sure, because again, I don't want to throw everything back to the West Shore School District, but it appears that in the West Shore School District, that the administration is trying to use the Trump policies as a way to still implement some of these policies. So keep an eye on that moving forward. Make sure you check the policies out when they start implementing them, and make sure. I don't know your Northern's policies. We're just getting involved here. We're at the very beginning, but I mean, the West Shore School District doesn't even get the agenda for the meetings till 24 hours before the meeting.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Okay. So we can't even, like, we've tried to do prep work, and we've had people who aren't parents or whatever ask us why we can't do more coverage sooner. And it's because the agendas aren't even available till 24 hours before the meeting starts. So we can't do any earlier than that because we don't know what's going to be on the agenda.
Well, in Northern, when we go to the committee meeting, which is a week before, generally, Julia, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's creating the agenda for the school board meeting.
Yeah.
So if they decide then the week before that they're going to discuss the bathroom policy or the library policy, because that's where this came up, the library resources came up the week before, and then we had a week to prepare.
Yeah.
And then we went full-fledged because we knew it was going to, actually, we didn't do it by the agenda. We did it at the end of the meeting in open comments. But we knew it was coming up.
Well, that's excellent if you get a little prelude to that from the policy meetings. Okay, because it is not that way in the West Shore School District. They do not give you, I mean, the policy meetings don't give you any kind of lead in to the school board meetings whatsoever. A little bit, but not really.
Julia, did I have that about correct? I mean, you're more involved. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, because they discuss what they're voting on at the committee meetings.
Correct.
So, yeah, that's, but before the committee meeting, we have no idea until 24 hours before what they're doing.
I think the West Shore School District are allowed to do things between the policy. Well, the policy meeting, like their schedule is weird. So like they have a policy meeting, and then the school board meeting happens right after the policy meeting. Like they don't even leave the room.
Oh, okay.
Like they go from 5:30, then the policy meeting starts at 5:30. The school board meeting starts at 6:30 and goes till. I mean, we did 2.5. We went for 2 hours and 45 minutes last night. If I'm sounding a little hoarse to any of our viewers, it's because I went for 2 hours and 45 minutes last night doing a live watch along for the school board meeting.
Yeah, we've been in long meetings like that too. It can get long, especially if you have people speaking.
Yeah, we had a couple. It wasn't as bad last night. Like I can't imagine. Like last night was a longer one, but we didn't really have that many people speaking. But there was a lot of discussion and stuff with some of the votes. And like I said, they even voted in. We have 5 conservative. I say we because I've been involved with them for so long. I don't even live in the West Shore School District. I live in a different school district. But they have a conservative school board, supposedly 5-4. And then last night, the policy on the library books got voted, and everybody's like, what is going on? And part of what we're doing is holding the elected people accountable. So we called this person out for doing that. And again, I gave that person, I said it on the air, that person can reach out to us. He can come on a show and explain his position or why he voted that way. Or if he doesn't want to, then we'll vote him out of office.
That's right.
Yep.
That's how you do it.
So, you guys are just getting involved here. Are you guys reaching out to other parents?
We've been involved with the school board ever since we were fighting the mask mandate. So this so we've been involved for years. Huh?
That's how we met.
That's how we all met. And I met Linda at a school board meeting, and then I found out, through Facebook group for the masking that Jess was my neighbor. So, and we all created a bond through that.
Isn't that amazing?
So we've been involved for. I just started live streaming on Facebook less than a year ago, but we've been involved. We've dealt with the mask mandate. We've dealt with the Satan Club, and now we're dealing with the library books.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the bathroom policies.
And the bathroom policies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So so it actually started with the masks for you guys, not necessarily the books. Okay, so that all right, good. So do you guys have other parents? How many of you are there? Do you guys have good numbers banding together here to try and influence things with the school board?
There's a few, not as many as I would like to see, but that's one of the reasons why we want to do this. We want to bring more awareness. So, and that's one of the reasons why too I started live streaming, because I know parents do have crazy schedules. They work, their kids have sports, and it is hard to make every meeting for every parent. So, but there are a few, we have 2 other moms reviewing books with us. So, and we also have a prayer group. We've been doing this for 2-3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah, where every Sunday evening we meet at a particular school and we prayer walk around that school. We also do it at the library because that's where the Satan Club is meeting, and we also do it at the administration office. And our superintendent and school board are aware that we're doing this.
They just started doing stuff like that with the I think they just started it with the West Shore School District. They had one prayer group, and they have another one coming up here in March. They're gonna meet at the school and do a whole big prayer thing. So that's really awesome too.
I love it.
Yeah, and obviously, you got your prayers have been answered. The Boiling Point podcast is here to give you some media backup. So hopefully we can find some other parents in the Northern School District, with this episode. So if you're a parent in the Northern School District and you're concerned about what's happening in your schools, or you weren't aware of what's happening in your kids' schools, now you are. So reach out to Julia, Jess, or Linda. I will get their emails and make sure you guys are all right with me putting your emails in the description of the video.
Sure.
Parents, all right, that way. So they're in the description of the video. If you're a concerned parent, and you want to help coordinate or get involved, then you can reach out to one of these 3 ladies and, find out how you can get involved. And you can come on an episode if you have something specific to talk about. Reach out to us. And of course, this Tuesday, as I said, which let me get you the date here. The 18th of February is when we're going to do the live stream of Northern's school board meeting. Now they don't do the what?
That's the committee meeting.
Oh, the 18th is a committee meeting.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's
When
our
is the school
workshop.
board?
The following Tuesday will be the school board meeting.
Oh, okay. So you guys only have one school board meeting a month?
Yes.
No, we have a committee meeting, and then the following week, a school board meeting.
Okay. See, that's also different from the West Shore School District. I'm pretty sure they have 2 policy meetings and 2 school board meetings, the second and third Thursdays of every month.
Yep. Now the committee meeting, the audience is not allowed to speak at all, but that's where you get that's where you get to hear who's saying what and who's fighting for what on the members. So it's actually very interesting.
Are we, Julia, do you also live record those?
Yep, I do.
Okay,
both.
so then we
Yep.
are going to do that. Okay, so then we are still going to do that on this Tuesday. Then we're going to live stream the committee meeting, and then
That's where you're gonna find out where each board member stands on the topic. So
and this is amazing that they don't live broadcast; they just do minutes. So yeah, the Northern School Board. If you're a member of the Northern School Board, get ready. You're about to be on the Boiling Point podcast camera. So your votes are about to be officially publicly recorded in the video form, not just on paper. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring attention to or discuss?
I just want to bring out that I'm a grandma. And my grandchildren actually do not go to Northern any longer because my kids made the choice to remove them because of this. But as a grandma, and I've explained to my own grandsons, they're 11 and 13, and I've explained to them as well as my own kids. My kids are amazing people, very involved in the community, but I'm doing this for the future of our kids. We cannot allow this ideology and this garbage to continue in our schools. We need to focus on education. You know,
Absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't and just because you don't have, if you live in a school district, you pay school taxes, meaning you get to go to the school board meetings and you get to have your voice heard. You don't have to have a kid to get involved. All right. I just want to make sure I remind everybody that I don't have any children. I have nieces and nephews who are like my own children, but I don't actually have my own children. And that does not diminish the ability of my getting involved with my podcast. So you don't need to have a kid in the school district. You just have to live within that school district.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's great. Did your kids take your grandkids out? Are they in cyber school?
Yes, they actually go over to West Shore Christian Academy now. Not cyber, they go to West Shore Christian Academy.
Private school then.
Yeah, they're in private school, and they just did that. I think in the end of 2020. Well, no, towards the middle of 21, with all the shenanigans that was going on, and then a lot of this was being revealed. Then I know with Moms for Liberty, you know, I talked to Jessica probably a year and a half ago, going to their meetings about this, what's in these books, and even in the health classes and the movies. Oh my word, it's just I can't understand. I just can't understand it.
And that's how quickly it happens. And a lot of people don't know that, you know, your school board, apparently, you know, just like Northern, you know, they might not even they don't have policies for some of this stuff. Your school board might not have policies for some of this stuff. That's why you gotta get involved, and you need to find out what those policies are, if they have policies, because believe me, the West Shore School District has policies, and that has not helped them at all. They got the wrong policies in place. So you need policy, but you need the right policy.
Yeah.
Jessica had an incident this week with her son. I don't know if you want to share, Jessica, but what happened in the books?
Well, so that was actually resolved. The students came forward. My son came to me and said he found something kind of questionable in a presentation, but it was resolved. It was actually not what we thought it was.
Okay.
I actually went in. Our principal's really good at our elementary school. She let me come in and review all the material myself, and, you know, let me ask questions, and just made sure everything was completely transparent.
Good.
But our kids are, you know, they're just like us. They're on the lookout. They want to make sure everything is safe. They want to make sure, you know, they're not being given questionable material also. So that was a thing. Yeah, that was an issue.
I think that speaks to you all as parents and grandparents, the way you're getting involved, because I've been saying in some of the West Shore School District episodes and coverage that it does come down to the parents as well. Not
Absolutely.
everything is reliant on the school board. You
Yeah.
can't rely on the school
Right.
board to raise your
Mhm.
children. I don't care if they got the right policies or not. So as a parent, you still have to be involved. You can't just ship your
Yes.
kids to school and expect them to do the raising. So it
That's
does
right.
start at home, because there's a huge bullying problem in the West Shore School District. Do you guys have any bullying problems in Northern?
We've heard that there are. I only have one child left in the school. My other two children, they've graduated already, but in different community groups, we hear parents discussing it. And we try to encourage them, come to school board meetings, bring this before the board, but they're not showing up to the school board meetings. So
Some of that could be time. I was saying this in other episodes. That especially the more conservative members of the community, they seem to be work. They have work. They have to provide for their families. They don't get assistance, government assistance. They have to provide for their families. If they don't work, they don't eat. They don't pay the bills.
yeah,
Whereas some parents, whether they deserve to or not, I'm not going to get into any of that, receive assistances. I receive assistance. My assistance is warranted, and my money, trust me, gets stretched further than the average dollar. But there are people who get assistance that just don't work and just abuse the system, and then they have all the time in the world to show up at these meetings. See, that's the other thing, is that sometimes it is a matter of time. When you're busy working and you got kids and they have after school activities.
Mhm.
I can't imagine trying to make it to a school board meeting, or even having the energy to make it to a school board meeting.
yeah, yeah.
But you do have to get involved.
Yeah.
You have to find the time. You have to find the energy somewhere. If you want it to change, then you have to get involved. That's the only way it's going to
That's right.
change.
Mhm. Yeah. A little over a year ago, we got some new board members, and one a little iffy, but the other three, they're very strong and they're standing their ground. And a lot of the positive changes that we're seeing are being implemented by these new members, but kind of being held back by the older ones. I mean, one of them told me, he goes, we could have had all this stuff done months ago if it wasn't for particular members of the board stalling. So
How many members of the school board are there in Northern?
there's 9.
9. Okay, so that is the same. Okay, so that is the same. And do you guys is it a conservative board?
It's a conservative majority.
Okay,
So they all claim to be conservative, but they don't all vote conservative.
Yeah, that's the problem we're running into at the West Shore School District. Like I said, we just had a conservative vote for the new book policy, and that was not supposed to happen. That's why everything went crazy last night, because he was supposed to vote no. Nobody's sure why he voted yes. So because people claim it all the time, but that's not necessarily. I've noticed it seems to be a political strategy to you almost represent yourself as the other side, and then once you're elected, you just ignore it and do your own policies.
And one of the new board members told me that a lot of this stuff, that it just went unchecked for decades. That it was just status quo, everything.
Yep.
And and it's like I said, my 2 older boys, they graduated in 2015 and 2019. I had never stepped foot into a school board meeting. I couldn't even have told you the names of the school board members. And then COVID happened. That's when I got involved, and that's when I realized, wow, I should have been involved years ago.
Yep. All parents should be involved. If you live in a school district, you should be getting involved, whether you have kids or not, like I said before, because that's where a lot of stuff can happen at the local level. And within the schools, it's even more important because you're affecting the next generation.
Because I hear from a lot of parents that I talk to, if I'm out and about and I'm talking about the school board meetings, like, well, I'm glad I don't have kids. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm like, well, these children are the future. They're our future politicians.
Yeah. It's not just about your kids. Yeah, it's not just about your kids. We're in a countrywide battle now. You know what I mean? It's not just about your kids. It's about your neighborhood. It's about your community, not just about just you personally. It's about you as a whole, as a community and stuff now. Like, turn on the news and you'll see the war happening right in front of your eyes. So And that's what I'm encouraging people, the local level. That's how we were doing a lot of national stuff on the Boiling Point podcast. And then when I met Mariana Reed from the West Shore School District and we got involved in that, now we're much more heavily, we do way more local episodes now than we do national episodes, mainly because I don't have the time to keep up with the local. Everything we've been doing has just been keeping me busy. I can't take on more episodes. I mean, look, I just shot one last night live. We're shooting one this morning that'll likely be aired tomorrow, the 15th, Saturday. Then we're doing a live stream on Tuesday with Julia to live stream the policy meeting. And then on Thursday, I got another West Shore School District School Board meeting that we'll be live streaming and doing a watch along with. Then the Tuesday after that, we'll be back with Julia to do the Northern School Board meeting. So like we don't have time to take on national stuff right now. I'd love to do another national episode, but right now we just haven't had the time. Because right now we're getting involved at the local level and we're making a difference. So that's where we need to be.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing too. We should be the guide rails, you know what I mean, of what trickles. And my biggest fear is New York's school board system and what they allow the children to have as far as material. Like that's my biggest fear as a parent and as an adult that works with children. Like we don't want that to come here. So we need to really stay adamant, you know, and just be supportive, you know, and just continue to be those guide rails.
Absolutely. And absolutely. And with the new, like I said, the policies that Trump's implementing, some people are going to try and twist them and make it where they still push through what they want, even though that's not what, you know, what the agenda is here. So you got to stay vigilant. Stay vigilant, I think, is going to be the chief message of this episode, whether you have kids or not. Anything else you guys want to discuss?
Actually, I did want to add the 3 books that we read to the school board. I did discover the other day they have been removed from our library.
Oh, that's good. So so it did work. Yeah, that's good.
Yes. And like I said, there's 5 of us all together that are reviewing books, and we're only sticking. I mean, there's a lot of things in there that I don't agree with. Unfortunately, there's a lot of trans books in the high school, and but I've kind of right now. The only thing that we're focusing on is
you're trying to prioritize what the most important thing is right now. And instead of doing trying to take care of everything all at once, just focus. And if the fact that you're getting books removed, then it's just going to be a matter of progress then. So, which is excellent. I'm actually glad. I can't believe that they actually took it down just from you reading it in the meeting. That's crazy.
Yeah. We were well, we also got coverage with the local newspaper too. So she called the superintendent the next day and says, okay, what are you going to do about these books?
We're going to start doing that too. That's how we're going to get more involved in the West Shore School District. I'm going to start calling them as the media and asking them for public comment, and see what they have to say. So that's good. That's good that you got local media involved. We ABC and Penn Live and some of the ones around here don't really do much of anything. That's where we come in.
Yes,
that's right.
Make room, move out of the way.
That's right.
All right, then. Well, then we will see. We're going to wrap this one up, and we'll be back Tuesday to do the live stream of the policy meeting, and hopefully we can get one or all 3 of you to come on after that meeting for a little bit of post-game wrap-up after the meeting to discuss what we watched, and then we got the school board meeting the week after. So, all right, well, then stay tuned as we continue to expand our coverage. This is Northern School District, and we're going to be getting involved with this and doing a lot more and seeing how we can help. So share this episode out. Leave us a comment. If you're a parent in the Northern School District, leave a comment, hit the reaction button, and share it out. If you do all 3, it helps with the algorithm on Facebook, and then we get circulated more. So I'm not asking you to like, comment, and share because I want to have all these views on this episode or do anything like that. It's about the algorithm. If you do all 3, the video gets circulated a lot more. So if you could do all 3, hit that react button, leave a comment, and then share it out. That will really help with the algorithm, and we can reach a lot more people. And if you're a if you live in the Northern School District and you want to get involved, reach out to the show, look to the description of this video, and or reach out to one of these ladies, and they will tell you how you can get involved, and we can keep making change happen.
Thank you.
Until next time, for Jess,
Thanks,
Julia, and Linda, I am your host, JD, and that's the end.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
us.
JD.
Thank you.